In the upper left, folks, in the blue, he is for Alpha X, the GSL finalist. His name is Ragnarok. And the bottom right, in the red, for Kaizi Gaming, Reynor. Reynor. The man who reigns. As, of course, in Latin. Rest Ray, Ray, Rem, Ray. Or Ray, or REI, though, means king. So, a ruler, I guess. Although, not the ruler of the Romans, because that was an imperator, the emperor. But yes, of course, they did also need, rewards for kings because they interacted with many kingdoms. Anyways, Ash Gas Pool going to be the name of the game for Ragnarok and Reynor here in this game number 1. And not too surprising, honestly. It's Cosmic Sapphire. It's a big map. 12 pool on this map just doesn't really seem like something that is necessarily going to make a lot of sense. And I think both players are pretty confident in how well they will be able to play. But look at this! Reynor, his pool down exactly 0.25 seconds faster. Maybe a little less. Clearly he's going to win the game now, right? You got the pool faster? No, not so much as our observer shows the fact that, yes, this is sponsored by a bunch of awesome companies in Chinese that I don't speak. But SC Boy and NetEase and Douyu, Blizzard. But really, there are a couple things you're talking about when you're looking at ZVZ. First of all is, well, okay, the pool's good. Is there a pool first? We're past that point. We're fine. But a couple things we talk about, right? First of all, does someone get the third base? When do they get that third base? Is it going to be 2 base all in? Do you get it at, you get your third base at 28 supply? Do you get it at 36? Do you get a little bit longer? Do you really hold on to that 2 base timing for a little bit? And then at 27 drones, do you spamlings? Do you build more drones? Do you get a Baneling Nest or not? Those are really like the early game breakpoints that you're looking at that really can decide just how ZVZ is going to work out. Or not necessarily decide how ZVZ is going to work out, but give you an idea as to how the game is going to, what plot points it's going to hit in the story that it's trying to tell. But right now, well, we're just seeing a bunch of really drones coming out from both sides. Reynor's taking his third base. He's not quite at the Ling Flood number, and he's certainly taking his third base. So it looks like he will be fine for the moment. Baneling Nest does open up the opportunity for aggression. But it looks like he is, well, 2 out of 3 on gas, I think. You'd think that's something I would have memorized by now, but anyway. Less on gas, certainly one than what Ragnarok does have. And that tells us again that Reynor is, again, most likely not going to get super aggressive. He's trying to cut every corner possible to get a couple extra drones out. Get that third base done. Maybe get an extra queen or something. So for right now, with the money that Reynor is missing in terms of gas, is he's going to make up for the fact that he's mining just a little bit more. And we can see that already, and he's up a drone. Of course, it's hard to really tell whether this is actually a true lead or not because, well, hey, this is ZVZ, and with drone cycles up and down, you can kind of look at it instantaneously, but overall, it ping-pongs back and forth. But speed did finish actually a little bit quicker for Reynor, which did net him 2 lings as Reynor builds a Baneling defensively, but so too does Ragnarok. So Evo Chamber's on the way, third base just about done. Doesn't really seem like we're going to see too much chaos. Ragnarok is building a couple more lings. Okay, maybe? No. Okay. Drone's on the way. So he's building a couple more lings than Reynor has, but seems like those are more of a defensive utility than anything else. As there we go. Roachborn goes down, but Reynor hides it. Puts it behind the wall. I'm curious whether this means he's going to go for maybe like a +1 carapace timing. Something like that. Just, well, off the opportunity that Ragnarok doesn't exactly know what Reynor is going for. Because, again, that Roachborn has been not scouted just yet. But here comes the Baneling rolling forward, and Reynor does get vision of it. So he's aware that there is a Baneling on the field. He's aware that it was morphed in on his side of the map. And there we go. Finally, there's a scout on the Roachborn. So Ragnarok is at least aware that Reynor has opted to go for Roachborn as his tech. Now, what type of build this is, he doesn't know. He sees the lack of a lair, and that might be a bit scary. As the Banelings of Reynor, they trundle. They don't roll, they trundle. They waddle. And if Ragnarok gets 2 Banelings here, that would be very nice for him. But just one gets low. But one, of course, does go down. Not even goes down. It commits itself when it does not want to be. As a Baneling, you have to be very afraid of commitments. Oh. Thank you, BK Rack. I'm so not used to changing my stream, my game that I'm like, wait a minute. All right, there we go. Now it's fixed. That that is very much true, BK. Arkham is like, wonder where everyone is. It's fixed now. We're okay. Also, did you see the new emote, by the way? I think you should enjoy it. Gas going down on the third base of Reynor on both sides, but that's not really necessarily tell you once you go mutas at this point. It can be, certainly, but with the amount of roaches that are out with +1, this could also be a tell. This just unlocks gas for him to go for something like, you know, go for like a heavy Ravager play, something like that. But for now, really minimal difference. The one thing I'm worried about for Reynor actually is Ragnarok's only on 50 workers. He's pumping drones out. He has +1 attack and rush speed on the way, but I don't know whether he's reading Reynor as Raynor's the one that's getting aggressive, so he's cutting drones to make that happen, or he just wants to hit with a sledgehammer timing, but he's down 14 workers. He's only half droned up his third base. And that can be a little bit scary. Normally when you want to out-drone someone, you want to out-drone by like maybe 8 or something. Reynor is double that, but this is Cosmic Sapphire. This is a long map. This is a map where certainly you can build the defense that you want, and roach speed is going to be done for Ragnarok very soon. Raynor's, though, a little bit further out, but Reynor is desperately pumping workers. He's got a spine on the way. Let's see if this is going to be enough to make him hold on, because again, he does not have roach speed. He does have equal upgrades, though. 1-1 versus 1-1, and a couple Ravagers on the back line. Add in that little bit of extra damage off the top. As for now, the Queen will fall to start, which is actually really important. You want those Queens for transfuses, but the supply is starting to equalize just a little bit. But again, remember, a lot of that is going to be in production. Even still, Reynor holds on pretty simply. He may lose this fourth base again because he does not have roach speed. But now he's going to try to keep it alive, trusting to the creep to keep that, to make sure that he's able to hold on. And it's a superior concave from Ragnarok, though. I look at this, it's like, I don't know that this is the play for Ragnarok, but then you look at the supply and you're like, okay, no, this is probably the play for Reynor. Hey, Ragnarok, my pleasure. I could be going... Just let you know how much I care about you all. I could be going to a Halloween party tonight. First of all, I don't have a costume. I haven't had time to build one. But instead, we're casting WTL. So instead, we're going to look at the roaches in spooky costumes, although no one has the skin on right now. Maybe WTL turned it off. So we don't actually get to see spooky costumes here on Halloween weekend. Very sad. You should change this WTL. You should be ashamed of yourself. But Reynor now is the one that is getting aggressive on the map. He's about 20 army supply up, give or take. You know, don't ask me to do math. It's the weekend. But he's about 20 army supply up. And more importantly, yes, +2 is about 8 seconds done, but it's 8 seconds done for quite a while. It was gooped up here. Now Reynor moving in for a bit of a surround, but the biles are going to be enough to force him back for the moment. So we will see one Overlord go down as Ragnarok just trying to set this surround up, trying to make sure that he's okay, but +2 is now done. So Reynor does not want to attack in right now, despite the supply lead that he has. Because again, +1 versus +2 is pretty significant here, but Ragnarok's going to force it anyways. And the vials don't land all that hard. So both players, they kind of reset here. 46 roaches to 43, an additional Ravager. But again, the big deal is Reynor is up about 11 workers here. So as long as he's going to be able to not trade too inefficiently, he should be fine. But Ragnarok pushing in like this is really scary for Reynor, but apparently it doesn't matter because more stuff beats less stuff. 4 bases to 3, and better economy means the Reynor, despite that fight maybe not being the best for him necessarily, the reinforcements are going to take care of everything. He's now up about 30, 40 army supply. He does have his +2 done as well. No advantage for Reynor anymore. No advantage for Ragnarok anymore. In the upper right, folks, in the blue, he is down 1 because his timings just didn't work out. He's Ragnarok. And the bottom left, up 1, former world champion, Reynor. So I'm never sure, like, when you have a situation like that, was that a planned 3-based all-in coming in for Ragnarok? It kind of lined up like it might have been. Or was it just a desperate misread where he thought Reynor was going to be aggressive off something I didn't see, and then he has to go all in? Hey, Kashanis. Hello, hello. How's your PhD going? How's that tool you were working on? I love this, though. We have Ragnarok and Reynor both on inside and out, recognizing that this is a short map, both going 12 pool. Which is always this interesting scenario, which means whoever decides to fight, whoever takes the fight on their side of the map tends to win. So it's this really it's kind of this funny double bait kind of setup. Oh, very nice, Kishanas. I just submitted a paper to IEEE Aerospace that I should hear back from, I think, mid-November. So that's exciting. But here is the difference. Ragnarok is going for a... He's going for gas. Reynor is going to go... Well, never mind. He's going gas. He's going a little bit later, though. Certainly, this is not the 12-11, 13-12, something like that, where you do commit. It's off of one base. No, this is just into the mid-game. Ragnarok's going to have a speed a little bit faster, but not in too much of a significant way. But now Reynor will see, okay, Ling's on the map. And Ragnarok will see the same thing. So it's going to be interesting to see how they do the setup. Enjoy your sleep, Kishanas. Have a good one. Before you go, though, did you see the Stormgate Nexus that we finally launched? Stormgate News, Opinion, whatever type of website. Eventually, that'll integrate pretty tightly with the Stormgate API, whatever happens. Use SG Nexus in the chat. Or just go to stormgatenexus.com. Very excited about that. We launched it. We soft launched it this week because we felt we had enough backlog of content to make it worthwhile for people. So the Lings of Reynor are on Ragnarok's side of the map, but of course, because the hatch is done, it has +1. It has 1 armor, so the Lings don't kill things quite as quickly. They force a couple Lings out of Ragnarok, and actually, this builds a bit of a nice little worker lead here for Reynor. He's up a couple workers, but he doesn't have speed on the way. He's got 136 gas, but no speed on the way. And that is very interesting. I like the peel away of 1 Ling to try to find your way into scout. Reynor did that, but I think 2 is what works. 1 is just not enough. But okay. Ragnarok not pumping Lings there. I thought there might have been an opportunity where he just kind of spam Lings for speed Ling timing. But it will not be the story of this game. Is now, oh, Reynor going, fancy. I'm curious to see how many gases he has on, but right now there's a very quick layer going in, and the Lings will try to... Oh, the Lings will find their way, not even try. So a drone will fall. The Lings will trade pretty well, actually, and they're going to find their way into the main base, where guess what, folks? They will see that, yes, there is a layer on the way. So at this point, we might see that Ling flood after all. I'm not sure. By the way, for what it's worth, my Nidus sense is tingling in this game. I don't think this is going to be Spire. I don't think we're going to see that many... I don't think we're going to see that many gases. 3 gas, probably, not 4. And yeah, Reynor, there we go. +1 ranged on the way. So this feels like a Nidus play coming in from the Italian Stallion. And Ragnarok, he got a good scout. He was where he saw the gas count for the most part, I think. More importantly, he saw the layer, but I lied. It's 4 gas. Okay. 2-base Muta on the way. And Ragnarok's just going to look to shove his face in. Carapace is going to be the name of the game. And a bunch of Lings, a bunch of Roaches with Carapace against the Muta timing is just not good. It just does not work out all that well whatsoever. We'll see what Ragnarok is able to do. Actually, here's a bit of a problem. The full energy queen is the one that's far forward, so that's just going to go down. No transfuse. Reynor gets on top of the second one, and I think, yeah, now it has the energy for transfuse. Just a little bit too little, too late. Spire's on the way, but it, again, is too late here. Ling's already starting to absolutely ravage Reynor's setup. Losing 2 queens at the start is horrible. You don't have injects. You don't have transfuses. Life is just pain, misery, sadness, and woe, and half the Lings will get out anyways. Prior to the aggression, prior to the attack, the true attack, that Ragnarok wants to go for. So the Spire is 3/4 of the way done for Reynor. And I mean, technically, if he can establish map control with the Mutas, he's going to be in a happy spot. But he lost 2 queens. He lost, I don't know, maybe a drone or 2, not sure. He lost some Roaches. This pressure coming in from Ragnarok scares me. This perspective pressure coming in from Ragnarok scares me. But he's on 54 workers, 53 workers. He's building more. He's droning up on 3 bases. He's not. I think that is the decision as well. I killed 2 queens. I don't even really need to do anything. I'm gonna have Carapace. It means the Mutas are not gonna kill things nearly as quickly. And Link find the 3rd base as well, where they will be able to kill this. I think Reynor does get the cancel, of course, but that's a denied 3rd base. Well, Ragnarok is mining out of it. Reynor has to get so much done with his Muta play. And actually, I don't even hate the Spire from Ragnarok. He could go for Corruptors, which is, from this position, fantastic. You get about 20 Corruptors, 15 Corruptors, and you just make the mutas fight those while the roaches go and kill everything. But even if you go mutas, if your name is Ragnarok, you're on 6 gas, your opponent's on 4. You just will never build as much mutas and you will die. Or your opponent will never build as much mutas and, well, they just die. That's kind of how that works out. So Reynor already... He's got Infestation Pit on the way. Very interesting. Ling's now they're going to try to find this third base, and I don't think there are enough roaches to stop that either. So yeah, some overlords are going down, but that's like the default, the pound of flesh, the minimum trade. As these Lings with Carapace, they're just not dying to the roaches all that quickly, so they're going to wrap around onto the third base. I don't think it dies this time necessarily, but it takes a lot of damage, and that's a bunch of roaches. That's a bunch of dead roaches. Ravager as well. So now Ragnarok is just going mutas. Okay. I really like this. He's gonna have better muta. He's gonna just have better muta stuff. I guess Reynor did scout the Spire. I'm not totally sure where the Spire is actually, but Raynor's got Infestors. Interesting mind game or response. I don't know that it is going to really matter though, because again, Ragnarok is up 7 workers at this point, but third base much longer, and the mutas will now arrive, and they're going to go down. This is just the muta count for Ragnarok is so much higher than that of Raynor's. He's committed so much to this play, and it's just not going to work out whatsoever. So he's going to have to rely on his queens and his infestors to make something happen, and I don't know that it will. So this is such a weird game. Very rarely do you see someone get a Spire like 2 minutes before you do, and you're like, yeah, this Spire seems great. But again, because of the damage, because of the economy that Ragnarok's been able to build, and the tempo he's been able to establish, doesn't really need that. Oh, he dives on top of 2 of the infestors before they have enough energy. So now the queens are falling, the mutas are falling as well. And Reynor, he's shaking his head a little bit, but it seems like this game is over. Another infestor will fall without dropping a fungal, and the spore, maybe the spore doesn't even get up. So yeah, the infestors there, or the mutas, they dominate pretty much everything. They've snowballed at this point. There's really not a lot that can be done. Mutas dive on top of the infestor, and yeah, there's a spore, but Lings dive into the natural, and that's actually no spore anymore. 4 spores, and 7 years ago, our drone fathers brought forth a new Ragnarok, because that's really what's happening here. Mutas are dominant. Roaches are not dying as quickly, but this is dead natural. Infestors are getting made, but their job is to die, and that is what they will do. As more infestors pop up, more infestors go down. Of course, no pathogen glands, so they don't get anything out. And Lings will be able to deal. Yeah, Lings will be able to deal with these +2 roaches on the other side. Queens are dead. Everything's dead. I would love to say that there is something that Reynor can do in this game. I would love to say there's some outlook, some opportunity, but no. Reynor's just kind of dead. Another spore will go down, and with it, this natural is dead. I do think it's interesting that we're not seeing Reynor or Ragnarok go commit to more mutas. I feel like if he just floods mutas, he kind of ends the game, but there's a Hydra Den on the way, +1 melee on the way as he moves for a tech transition. And trying to make sure that he has a 100% win chance, not like a 97% win chance. As Lings will find more queens, and again, queens just don't kill things. Don't kill Carapace units all that quickly. So 1 queen will fall. Second one is going to go down pretty quickly here as well. As the roaches arrive, and that's something. There we go. Lings, actually, a lot of them did go down. Roaches, of course, even with Carapace, they do 2-shot because they are +2 attack versus +1 Carapace. But Reynor, it all goes down to missing that transfuse in the early game. Ragnarok has the proper build. The meter response was fantastic, and Reynor falls down. Ragnarok and Reynor tied up at 1 apiece, but now we move into, in my mind, what is probably the most exciting matchup here in this series between Astrea and Time. In the upper right, folks, in the blue, he is from Alpha X, Maximum Angel, Astrea. Bottom left in the red. Trying to put his team up a little bit, put him on his shoulders. The hero of Kaizi. It is time. Time for what, you ask? I don't know. Time to cast some StarCraft. Time to stay hydrated. Time to scout with an SCV. Through the WTL, all these things are possible. Time to maybe proxy a barracks. But Astrea, wise to this possibility, he actually goes and finds the SCV go in and pulls a couple probes, and this means that the eBay block shouldn't really be possible. One annoying thing that I've seen some Terran players starting to do a little bit is actually, instead of eBay block, they bunker block. And then, yes, it doesn't quite build as quickly, but complete the bunker, and then the Reaper has a place to go into, so it's a lot harder to clear. It has to be done in secret. Why did... That's weird. My, hey, I'm casting StarCraft tweet got retweeted by a stock news? It's called Stockwatch? Like a stock news Twitter? What? Does whether I cast the WTL or not have some bearing on stock news? Or just the person that runs this, the Arweave API stock news account, just like StarCraft? I don't know. Very weird, but we'll take it. Thank you, I guess. But what do we got in this game? Stargate opener from Astrea. I think that is expected. It's Dead Sea. It's a big map. And Time is not someone that likes to go for 3 racks quite as much. I don't think you're worried about just, again, running into one of those Terran builds that almost hard counters the Stargate opening. A 3 racks, for example, one of the Here Marine, Viking Cyclone Marine, Medevac, Liberator, kitchen sink type pushes. That doesn't really strike me as within Time's bailiwick. So for now, we have a Phoenix again opener. So no Oracle to start, no damage potential there. Now this does mean that any sort of aggression coming in from Time is not going to work out. Forbidden Boba, Halloween is in 2 days. Not Halloween yet. Just so we're clear, calendars are important. But for right now, the Phoenix, really the first Phoenix right now, is going to serve as a scout. I see these Marines, and they're kind of moving. Okay, so there's 6 Marines on the map now from Time. He's rallying. Is he going to go for a push? Got a medevac out already. This is actually going to be a pretty nice timing coming in. Casting Time. This is going to be a pretty nice opportunity from Time to run across the map. 6 Marines, 3 or 4 Hellions, a medevac, and really it is only Phoenix to deal with this. So Astrea is going to go for, I think, a full wall. One Phoenix will get rather low, but not going to go down just yet. And yes, okay. Forbidden Boba, I'll buy that. Always Halloween. This is Halloween. Bum bum bum. Afraid of DMCA. But yeah, okay, I was talking about, it didn't really seem like it was kind of times MO to go for one of these 1.5 base, 2 base here Marine type pushes, but that is exactly what he's going for. As the medevac will fall, Marine's going to be marooned in the main base to fight well a bunch of adepts, which is not really what they want to do, but it is only 3 adepts. So you do have to bring the Phoenix involved in this, but they're a little low. 1 Phoenix has already gone down. I think you lift these Marines, now that certainly you lift them now, and they're going to try to chase. Now, we will see, of course, the Hellions, they're going to try to find their way in through the... Oh, that's not a... Okay, the Hellions could have dove in, apparently. I thought that was a full wall. Apparently not. I guess Time thought it was a full wall, too, because the Hellions could have dove into the natural, and... I'm with that. Honestly, I've been so busy with PhD and other things that I have not really made a costume. I do have a clown nose Forbidden Boba. So the joke is, I need more of a clown costume, but when I put the clown nose on, I'm going on as a North American Protoss player. So, well, that's always a little bit fun, although it makes my nose itch in the extreme. Anyways, this first push from Time has been stalled out with for the most part. It killed, what, 1 Phoenix? Some adepts? Not really what you're looking for if your name is Time. Although... Fantasy, I guess he does have all the time in the world to make something happen. 3rd base on the way for Astrea. Actually, it's done. And he's going to be moving into charge lot play, it looks like. A couple additional gateways, forge, or 2nd forge, plus 1 armor on the way. Oh, yeah, every time someone says something to me, I put more on, but I don't want to be taking that on and off. I can always put a name tag on and write sorry on it, and then put a suit on, and then I can go as a formal apology. That's always what actually makes me really sad. I don't have a lab coat anymore. I kind of tossed it at one point when I was in undergrad, and so it's really hard for me to go as Phil Nye the Science Guy, because of course, you know, my name is Philip. Works. It's funny. I swear, you should be laughing. But 6 Phoenix are now out on the map. 1-1 on the way for Astrea, and I talked about charge lot timings. There's a robo on the way, so maybe not. Certainly for right now, though, more zealots do get warped in, and time is going for a bit of a timing here. We're gonna have to see how powerful this timing is going to be. I think he's on 5 racks. No, yeah, I think he is on 5 racks actually. So it's gonna be a lot of Marines popping out on the map here. A lot of Marauders as well. Camouflage morph suit. I don't have a morph suit for Forbidden Boba, but that makes it a little hard. Anyway, Robo just about done. Charge is certainly on the map right now, and as Time tries to get aggressive with things, I don't know that Time's going to be able to get too much pressure done. And army supplies are equal, and the Phoenix, they represent so much pressure on the map. It's hard to keep medevacs alive. All the tech gets lifted up here, but Astrea, 2 zealots, they're poking around. Poke, 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 poke. They're not going to find much. And well, for right now, they're a bit of a scout here. 1 Marine will fall, but Time now finally feels like maybe he can get active on the map. Widow Mines! Oh, Widow Mines, but they don't kill anything just yet. And a couple Marines will fall here as well. Not even bothering with the Marauders, because Marauders, they can't shoot up, so you don't really care about them all that much. And Time, well, first of all, Astrea makes a bit of a mistake here. Recalls 4 of the Phoenix, or 5 of the Phoenix, whatever it was. But let's 2 stay behind Time's mineral line. And I'm going to assume that that is a mistake. But as Time wants to get aggressive on the 4th base of Astrea, I don't know that this is going to work. It's a 1-1 Protoss, up in army, or equal just about in army supply. Tons of zealots versus a 1-0 Terran. The upgrades are not good. The supply is not sufficiently high enough, and the Phoenix, they can lift up all the tech that Time is going to have to rely on, or of course, you know, drag Widow Mine shots onto the bio. So Astrea has a beautiful surround setting up here, but he has to trigger it all at once. Zealots actually, what are they doing? They're on move command on the backside. Zealots on the north side are getting absolutely shredded here. Now the tanks are going to go down, and the surround is still pretty good for Astrea at the end of the day, but man, that could have been so much better sandwiching them. It looks like it won't matter. Astrea was too far ahead because of this, but even still, that did really feel like it could have been so much better for Astrea. Now the Phoenix are down. Now we're going to see pylons get targeted down here. Probes will fall. That could have been an incredible fight for Astrea, and instead it turned into kind of only a good one. And as Time finds value on the backside, that's not nearly as bad for Time as I was looking at the start. I guess the idea of Protoss was for Astrea to put some zealots into the rally, but not entirely half your army, and certainly not as they're just move commanded. And that's one of those engagements where honestly you just kind of want F2A. Get the full 270, 360 and just, you know, knock things down. But really, at the end of the day, Astrea is on 4 bases. He's on 66 workers. Time is, well, does not have a 3rd base just yet. So certainly Astrea is still fine. He's getting Colossus on the way. His 2-2 is approaching completion. And he's got double robo as well. So we're going to have Disruptors and Colossus starting to hit the field here for Astrea. He has everything he could possibly want, but he does find himself down pretty significantly in army supply now, as Stalkers now will warp in. And 2-2 is just about to complete. So 1 upgrade lead at the moment, will be 2 rather soon. And we do see Force Field get dropped here, but SCVs have been pulled here. This is Time's Island. He's got to make it work now or never. And, well, looks like the answer, I don't know that he's going to be able to make it happen now. Widow Mines are annoying, of course, but Disruptors are starting to hit the field. While they're not quite Storm in how quickly they kill SCVs, they're pretty damn good. So SCVs are going to get pulled here. Zealots have to run back just a little bit more. There's no shield battery, so nothing to really keep this army alive right now. Widow Mines will get lifted, and Disruptor Shot has to go forward. Time looks at the target fire. He's going to get it at the end of the day. SCVs are now all dead. The Colossus have to run forward. Zealots are also kaput. They're dead. They're out of this game. So, well, Time drops in the main base. 3 Phoenix are all that remain to defend against this. But the Colossus, they can climb cliffs. They put on their spikes, their carabiners, and they find their way right on up. But they're not fighting anything. They're dealing with whatever is happening in the 3rd base. So probes are now starting to fall. There's a target fire. There's the Nexus will get targeted down. Colossus, they're not going to go up. In fact, wait, no, that's the problem. There's the ramp, but there are buildings there. So the Colossus, they have to go the long way around. That is a dead Nexus, and Time is starting to find value. Granted, this is important to note. Astrea still on 3 bases. He's still on 58 workers. If he can stabilize, he will be fine, but he needs his tech here. And he's starting to lose pylons. He's starting to lose production at an extreme clip. And Time seems like he's going to be able to get out. 10 workers have fallen. Time now tries to drop into the third base where the rally comes, the reinforcement comes, and the Colossus, they're just going to try to stand strong. Disruptors are now joining the fray, but it's another dead Nexus. Time is really making this work in an incredible way. Disruptors, they get targeted down, but now we're going to start to see some medevacs fall. Astrea on the chase here. He's still on 2 bases. He's still on 58 probes. He still has the superior economy. And Time almost made it work. Time really did almost make it work, but Astrea is able to clutch it out. Whew. Astrea clutches it out. And now, 2-1 Alpha X. And the upper right, folks, in the blue. He's up 1 here. Holding on to the base trade. Holding on to the all-in. He is Astrea. Bottom left, in the red. His SCV pull did not work. The boys rebelled in solidarity. He's going to have to maybe see if this works a little bit better this time. It is Time, and he's down 1. Hey, Marker Man. What's up this weekend, StarCraft? I could be going to Halloween party right now, but I decided StarCraft was more important. That's how much I love you. Actually, let's be real. I didn't want to miss any of, hey, it's 47ness. Look at that. The wonderful artist of all of my most beautiful emotes. Time is going to go for a Macarax. Are we still calling it those? But it's this like a middle map Rax. It's not a proxy. I mean, it's technically proxy, but it's not quite a proxy Rax. It's just a. It gives you that Reaper rush distance that you're looking for. But I mean, realistically, like, you know, I could be going to a Halloween party right now, but I don't want to miss any of TI. So I'm probably not going to do EPT Korea tonight. I'm going to be happy with doing the WTL broadcast, and I'll finish right as TA starts, because, well, that is the TI Grand Finals. And I have the final game of my Ultimate League tomorrow. We, unfortunately, despite being 1 seed, we got upset on Universe Point 14-13 last week. So very sad, but we will be playing for 3rd and 4th place in the playoffs tomorrow. So that's my excuse for not doing it. Let's be. I say I won't do it. I might do it anyways. Reaper just about done on the map here. So Astrea is going to have the Reaper show up a little bit quicker than he would like. Really, right after the Cyber Core completes. So it's going to be there is damage that this Reaper can get done, where you go and before the Adept pops out or the Stalker pops out, something like that. Because again, Waterfall is not the shortest map in the pool. Thank you, Moondance. But it is the smallest, certainly. And when you start to move to that 3rd base location, it is a very quick rush distance here. So 1 probe may fall before the Adept pops out, but the Adept is going to be done pretty soon. Marker Man, unfortunately, I'm not sure what you're saying. But the Reaper actually doesn't get too much done. And it's certainly not to save money on socializing. The party is being run by the Graduate Student Council at my PhD. So I would just show up and, you know, get free drinks. I guess I'm saving money on gas a little bit. But my other excuse, of course, I haven't had time to really make a costume, so I could throw something together. But so it's gonna be Blink Opener from Astrea in this game number 2. See where exactly he goes from here. Time is gonna go for Widowmine drops. It looks like I think I saw some Widowmines on the field, and there we go, more in production. But key wrinkle: it's gonna be cloaked Widowmines with an armory on the way. Astrea is not going to have a robo for the first explosion, but he may have an observer in time for the second. I don't 47ness, not necessarily. Although, did you see the? I had a couple excellent Halloween Twitter memes this week. The Spirit Halloween American Protoss is just a clown suit. Anyways, we got a drop here coming in from Time, and oh, that's pretty cool. So he's going to run 1 Widowmine in the naturals. He drops 2 in the main. And Astrea will be having to pay attention to... Oh, no, he's going to burn the front. I guess he's going to burn the front. But anyways, drop into the main base here. Astrea, how good is your SCV pull? Pretty good to start, or Pro pull. Pretty good to start here. He's going to have the decent splits. But again, the cloak is the annoying thing. So, I was not nearly as active on Twitter a couple years ago, 47S. I begrudgingly use Twitter now because well, it's kind of needed as a caster, as talent, but, you know. Okay, I get what you're saying, Marco Man. Yeah. No, again, I don't have to pay. I mean, technically I pay by, you know, sacrificing my prime years to a PhD, but I don't have to pay in terms of, you know, actually buying drinks or anything like that. But remember also, Marco Man, yes, this is true. A subscription is cheaper than, you know, like 2 shots or whatever. But how much does your computer cost? How many shots would selling? How much shots would your computer buy? All right, that's the big question. But okay, Char's gonna be on the way for Astrea once again. He's got the Robo, but no Robo Bay just yet. And the Cloaked Widowmine drop has gotten nothing done for time whatsoever, not at all. So. We saw time last time when his initial level of aggression didn't get much done. He pulled the boys, and it also didn't really work out all that much. So what does he do differently this game, Astrea? It feels like this is all that Astrea does. Honestly, he loves his charge lot ideas. He loves having a lot of stuff on the map early, and then, well, it causes about a lot of problems. But we will have a Banshee showing up here. Unfortunately for time, Astrea has Blink, but it does serve as a bit of a pressure release valve. It forces Astrea to recall the 5 Stalkers back into the main. So yes, Blink is there, and that does invalidate the Banshee in some way, but on the flip side, the Banshee's existence forces Astrea to not be aggressive on the map as he would like. But we gotta point this out. Astrea is on 4 gas, which means he's adding a Templar Archives, which means he is going to commit to Charge Lot Storm instead of just pure Charge Lot getting into Robo later on, which, considering how quickly you can get Storm and how aggressive time has chosen to be, I don't know that I hate it. I actually think it's pretty good, especially against the style where you go for an SCV pull, please. Like, Storm is getting chroned out right now. It'll be done in about a minute. So I don't know that time is going to be able to make this happen. I mean, he's all in. He doesn't have he's on 5 racks. He doesn't have a 3rd command center. But I don't know if this is going to work out. I mean, Storm is getting very close to completion. Now, when you do go Storm like this, you do tend to have a lower army count. It really is all about those Storms, but Astrea's going to have a decent amount of High Templar. I think he probably already has them, actually. More Zealots are getting warped in. He gets the scout of his army moving out, and I don't know. I mean, this is going to be really interesting to see what time's going to be able to make happen with this one. Storm now 15 seconds from completion. Now, luckily, this is not an SCV pool, not yet, so we're not going to see crackling balls of energy knocking down every single SCV in this game. As Astrea, minimal run by. Couples, not even going to run in the natural. A couple Zealots show up looking for a scout on that 3rd base, where they will find it as the Banshee gets the full scout on the High Templar. So this actually appears that time does not want to do much of anything. And I'm sorry, I did say this was 5 racks. I think it was 3 racks. I do apologize. And there's a 3rd base on the way for time. Or 3rd base on the way for time. So it seems like he does have the read that this is not really an army that he wants to push into. So we will see him posture. But as he gets that 3rd base up and does get his +1 attack, gets the 2nd eBay, moves in the mid game, it seems like this will be fine. This is Storm, ooh, that's on a lot of Widowmines here. Viking will die, or Banshee will die as well. So 2 Storms knock down all the Widowmines, or almost all the Widowmines. That's a nice start if your name is Astrea, but he does need more. Some more High Templar will warp in, and I believe we have 2 more Storms with this army fairly quickly. But anyways, the 4th base will get canceled. Here's Zealots. Oh, that's a lot of Zealots on the other side of the map. The worker count is, in fact, the one in yellow. Bread feeds the duck. The army count is the number in orange. The Zealots are being dealt with for the most part, but they force the entire army of time back home. And even then, the Zealots are not dying all that quickly. So, nice job there from Astrea. He will force the army back. He loses his 4th base a little bit, but he's got it on the way pretty soon, so that should be fine. Question, though, is where does he have aggressive opportunity? Where does he have the opportunity to actually go do something? Because right now he's playing defensively, and that is what Charge Lot Storm gives you. But you don't want to just let the Terran play whatever they want. I mean, you do want to be able to take a fight, and as I say that, let's be real here, this is Waterfall. You take a fight, you win the fight, you flood across the map. You're most welcome, Bread Feast the Duck. You're New Zealand, right? If I remember correctly from you talking in chat earlier. Okay, but I actually kind of like this coming in from time. Vikings getting added, and this is for one reason and one reason only. Is because the Warp Prism is such a problem in terms of keeping High Templar from dropping storms on your face. So you get a couple Vikings, they keep the High Templar off. Hey, Tater Tutor. Did you, you're not sub. Did you see there's new email? And it is a glorious one. Thank you for 47ness. How's the water? Water's fantastic. Cheers. Aussie, okay. There was someone else, I think there was New Zealand. Ooh, High Templar defensively. Ooh, not get sniped there. Well done, Astrea. And he got a decent amount of energy on it, so it should be fine. It doesn't really feel the need to build that into an Archon, but also Ghosts are on the field, so Archons are almost useless for the rest of this game. But Astrea is on 4 bases. Time is on 3. He's just about to max out. He's adding in the next set of Colossus. 2-2 on the way, but he does have 1-1. He's actually in a pretty solid spot in this game. But honestly, so is Time. You know, he's +2. Okay, that +2 armor upgrade is a mistake being this late, not on purpose. He didn't get the second eBay pretty well timed, but he only got +1 attack started. So there is going to be this time now. Once the upgrades are complete, where Astrea will be up just a little bit. Actually, seems going to time out pretty well here. But Time, what do you want to do? So looks like the High Templar will not get the shots that they're looking for just yet. I'm sorry, I made the mistake of reading chat at the wrong time. But 2 Colossus, a bunch of High Templar are a lot of damage onto Time's army. But of course, as our observer so elegantly points out, extended thermal lance is not going to be done for another, I don't know, 15 seconds. And that does mean that, oh, this High Templar has to be very careful, and it will be fine. It does mean that the Colossus are not going to be quite as powerful as they might like to be. High ground EMP knocks down storms on that one High Templar because Astrea has just got him all over the place. Shades of parting almost, and just the random High Templar scattered about that can drop storms on armies and make life rather difficult for Time in this game number 2. And remember, while Astrea winning this game does not win Alpha X the week, Astrea winning this game would mean that, well, Zoun only has to win 1 of 2, which is always a nice setup to be against Spirit as well. But for right now, Astrea just posturing on the 4th base. Time is trying to take it. I don't know that he's going to be able to. Storm on the army that tried to flank is actually going to be very nice indeed. So now the Zealots run forward, or excuse me, the Phoenix run forward. Decent storm, but it gets EMP dots. That's kind of fine here. And Astrea does have to run back a little bit. He's eaten a bunch of EMPs in this army, and we're starting to get the point as the Terran maxes out, and they got a lot of Vikings, good EMPs, good upgrades, where Disruptor shot, that's rather nice, where the Protoss army has to retool itself a little bit. It's no longer this big death ball that carries it through the mid game. It's Blink Stalker Disruptor, it's big amounts of Zealot run-bys, it's DTs everywhere, because it doesn't really feel like you can win the straight-up fight. But Astrea's going to try to make that happen anyways, loses the base. Wants to get his pros up. I don't really think he's going to be able to get too much out of it here, but this is a scary position for Astrea to fight into. He thinks he got an opportunity, though. EMP's blanket this army, and Astrea does not have the opportunity to take this fight. But here comes the bio stimming forward. Disruptors will start to fall. Astrea down to about 25 supply. But army supply is fairly fine for the moment. Well, I guess that is the bulk of the supply deficit, though, is Astrea 3-3 on the way. Warp Prism speed on... I can never tell. I think that's Warp Prism speed. It might be Observer speed. Both are good. Speed of some flying unit on the way, and well, more and more Disruptors join the battle here. But Astrea's got a big run by, a massive Zealot run by onto the 3rd base here. And yes, Widow Mines are nice, bunkers defensively are nice, tanks as well. But again, so many Zealots. They have 2-2. They have +2 armor. They do not die all that easily. I know, but they're close enough together, 47ist, that like if I don't have both of them to look at, I'm like, it's a speed. We go zoom. But yeah, I think that was observer speed actually. Pretty sure. As now Time on the north side, he's going to go find himself another Nexus here. So really, this was a great early game for Astrea. Time really didn't get much done. That's a nice storm It's not going to kill anything, but at least gets the Vikings rather low. Astrea had a great start, right? The Cloaked Widowmine drop got nothing done. Astrea was able to put some pressure on, but this is a game that is starting to feel pretty time favored. All right, he's got his 5th base up. Astrea only just now taking his. So it's a Protoss who's going to have to go into a more inefficient style in the late game, who does not have the army to do so. Not really. Disruptive shots are going to go off a little bit, kill off some SCVs. That's nice, and it's going to get a ghost, I think, as well. But this surround coming in from Time is glorious. Now, it looks like Time will have to sacrifice a base for it. Disruptive shot is going to be rather nice indeed. Ghost will not take the shot because, oh, that's very, very, very nice. And there we go, stimming on top of things. But so many disruptors will go down. Yes, 10 SCVs have fallen. The base is dead. The DT is doing a great job here, as well as the tanks will start to fall. But is this enough? That was so much of the complexity of the army from Astrea right now. If he gets this base, I think we can say it is enough here, and it absolutely will go down. DT's running, Zealots running, but there are so many Zealots here. You can't afford to lose too many Astrea, even still. Even still. That's fair, Bread Feast the Duck. Astrea. There we go. He's Astrea. From Astrea. I know. His name is Max Angel. He is not Australian. He's from California. And my pocket theory about what his name is Astrea is, you know, angels are celestial things, right? And Astrea sounds like Astra. It sounds like a star. Like the roots seem to be at least somewhat similar enough to the Latin word for star. So that's my ping pong setup. But while Astrea did lose a lot of disruption, that was unfortunate. He is, I mean, the last trade he got, putting Time back down on 4 bases is really, really nice for the man. He's got 3/3 armor on the, or shields, excuse me, on the way. He's sitting himself on 5 bases, getting his 6. He's really taken every base he can reasonably take on the map. Yeah, you have the low ground bases, but they are very, very, very hard to take. I would disagree, Brain Feed this Duck. Astrea is a very good player. He's not the best player in the world, but certainly the 2nd best player in North America right now. And at times the best player in North America. He has won in DreamHack and Ace. I'm sorry, Instamaniac. I enjoy words, okay? That's why I cast. It lets me talk a lot of words. And you know, people have always said, you know, why use many word when few word do trick? I'm on the other way. Why use few word when many word could also be fun? Anyways, big flank coming on in here from Time. Disruptor shots are starting to hit with tremendous aplomb, and it's a fighting retreat. Now, all the Colossus are dead. So Astrea, he just has to make sure he gets out with the Stalkers as much as they can. And, well, looks like that will be fine. By the way, Bread Feast the Duck, thanks so much for the 1-month Tier 1 sub, and Tater Tutor for the gifted sub as well. But this position that Time is finding himself in here in this game number 2 is pretty scary. I think Astrea just loses this space. I don't know that he can fight through the Liberator count that Time has been able to make for himself. Astrea's got a big bank, but he needs to actually spend it on something. So this base is dead. At least Astrea does have another one. And the Zealots, they run into the natural. There are too many Liberators too, but they may be able to do pain. They may be able to create pain, misery, and woe onto this 3rd base. And SCVs are starting to get shredded here, but Astrea blinks forward, tries to get these Liberators down. He gets 1, he gets 2, but there's still more where that came from, and now he finds himself zoned out onto the low ground, where this looks like it may be another dead base for Astrea, and it absolutely will be. In fact, Disruptors will send their shots forwards, but again, a little shot, not a game-ending shot, not a game-defining shot that Astrea is looking for. He's just got to spend his money. He's at 2K. But again, I don't know that he has the warp in potential now. Time is only on 38 workers, and he Doom drops here into the main base. Only, what is that, 4 Liberators, I think, getting set up. DT Blink actually could be rather nice here, because you know that Time is going to be spending as many scans as possible. But it's still very difficult to find your way into the main base. Zealots, they show up on the other side. A couple Stalkers as well, putting pressure on. DT's joined the fray here. They will be able to blink out, run away, disrupt shots. It's hard to see what's happening, but it looks like here Astrea will be able to break the chokehold. A couple gateways went down, but all the Liberators should follow the Vikings land, but here Time on the north side as well. It's going to be a recall. Shield battery overcharge is popped just to make sure that the recall gets off appropriately, and I think it will. So it looks like this base should stay alive for Astrea. Yeah, nothing on the ground. Just a couple Liberators in the air, and they do not kill things, Tater Tutor. Or 47ness, thank you so much for the gifted sub to Tater Tutor. Zealous slaying on in on the backside. Time has lost his third base. But surrounds coming in from every angle, but the Immortal is not quite immortal as it would like to be. Stalkers now need to blink forward here, but Astrea feels like he's done it. He still has 4 bases. He's still on 50 workers. The Stalker flank from the other side, the thing that denied the third base. They get a little bit more. Medivacs are so low. They're so out of energy. I think a couple actually are decent, but they're so low here in this game. But Astrea, as much as powerful as his defense has been over the last little bit of time, breaking time is going to be very difficult indeed. The Stalkers blink forward. This is going to be an easy break, though. The command center's dead. It's not a planetary, and at the very least, you have that. But going into core position time is going to be rather difficult. Oh, okay, gotcha. Bread feeds the duck. I was like, I don't know. I don't know that I would say. I don't know that I would say Astrea is bad, but yeah, no. Max Angel is a little bit better of a name than Astrea. All right. So Astrea is going to try to retake this 4th base. Feedback on the medevac. I mean, sure, fine. If you don't have energy for Storm, that's great. Shut. No, Astrea, he runs a little bit too far forward. And this is a powerful army from Astrea, but it needs to be microed properly. And it seems like Astrea is microing on the other side. And he will find a command center. These are 3/3 Stalkers. This orbital is just dead, I think. And that was the orbital from the natural. So time starting to run out of scans, actually, is a really big deal because, well, Astrea has been so hard on the Dark Shrine. So heavy on the DT play, but oh, that's a big flank coming on in here. Widowmines, they're not actually going to go and kill anything, but they do aggro the DTs forward, and that is going to be enough for time right now. He cleans this army up, and the Liberators are uncontested for the moment. They unsiege their resiege, still denying a little bit of mining. And yes, Astrea is on 40 workers to 14, but he really only has this base mining. He does not have the actual situation to mine from those 29 workers, because he just loses 11. And Liberator range, friends. There are spots on the map where you kind of need something to deal with it. Oh, disruptors, you gotta be so careful. Every unit is so important here, but here comes time getting on top of things. Disruptor shots are not gonna find what they look for at the end of the day, and I think time knocked 4 of them down, but here comes the Storm. Here comes the rest of Astrea's army, and now the only army supply that remains, it really is in the medevacs. Not a lot of stuff on the ground. It's 3-3 versus 3-3, of course, but, well, there are shields here as well. Astrea blinks forward, tries to get as many medevacs as he can. He gets 2 of them. None of them have any units inside, but it is 51 army supply to 28, and again, Astrea has the effective army. It really is like, what, 4 Marines and 2 Marauders that define everything that time has in this game. DT gets warped in and will not be able to escape, actually. But Astrea still's got plenty of money here. He's going to shut down the last mining base of time in this game. And we've had some incredible games between time and Astrea here in this best of 2. But at the end of the day, it will be a 2-0 for Astrea. Time is out of money. This base trade, these paltry few will not be enough. And Astrea pumps his fist because, oh, that was a hard game to win. Folks in the bottom left in the blue. He is for Alphax. One map is all that he needs to clutch it out to prevent the ace match from happening. To get full of 3 points, he is Zoun, and in the upper right, in the red. He needs 2 here to send us to an ace match. He is for Kaizi Spirits, that Polish Terran player. What is Zoun going for here in this game? Number 1. Well, it's a pro scout. No classic build, no max packs, no proxy pylon shenanigans. I mean, I guess technically he could pylon out, he could block the wall like that. Instead, he's just going to force the barracks to be made in a slightly awkward spot. And does he follow this up with a... Oh, okay. I got myself all confused. I'll turn around. Does he follow this up with an adept eventually? We'll see. By then, the barracks should, of course, be able to just relocate his way on over. But Zoun can drop a pylon. And that means that then the barracks isn't able to relocate. You don't want to delay your production all that much, so it'll the reactor in a weird spot, and then adepts maybe find it's this whole interplay. But I'm not convinced that is what we're going to see in this game. Is Zoun's just trying to be a little annoying. That's all he's doing. Being kind of a jerk, which is a lot of fun. Funny, I always enjoy when players they show a little bit of personality. Like they do the little bits of micro that, you know, in all honesty, it's not going to win you the game, but it's fun for the player to do, or it's a little annoying for their opponent. maybe they can get in their head. You know, that's always like, this is actually a key component of the game. If you can delay the command center for a little bit, your adept can get onto the other side of the map and fully delay it for much longer. So like that's big. Or just delaying the command center a little bit, but forcing the barracks to go somewhere else, I don't really think that has much of an impact. Really. All right. So now that that is done, now that the probe blocks have been dealt with, and Zoun is banished back to from whence he came, where do we go from here? He's got a Twilight on the way. Okay. So most likely going to be a Blink opener from him. I mean, there's a world where this is a DT opener or something, but I don't really see it. And Spirit, well, we got a command center down, but it's barracks, command center, factory, you know. We don't really have too much of a tell of what exactly he wants to go for just yet. As I say that, though, I did not see the SCV on the bottom left side, and we're going to see Hellion drops, I think, coming out from Spirit here in this game, number 1. Inside and Out is a rather short map, but there's already an Adept on the other side. It's going to go looking, trying to find what it can find out. Importantly, it's going to see more than one Hellion as they try to run across the map here, if Zoun keeps it where it needs to be, which then means that he should know that, yes, this is going to be Hellion drops. You don't build 3 Hellions normally, but, interesting. So first of all, the Adept is running back here, and the Marines are actually out. This actually tells Zoun a lot, because running the Marine and the Hellions out that far on the map kind of smacks to me of you're trying to hide something. Or of Spirit trying to hide something. So if I'm Zoun, seeing that is actually rather interesting, but Widow Mines are getting made, and okay, the SCV is just taking a very roundabout way back home, but how many Hellions do we have on the map right now? I think this is, it should be 3, but only 2? This is a mistake. You want 3, because the difference between two Hellions and 3 is I'm not saying, sorry, I don't know that it's a mistake. I don't think it is good. The difference between 2 Hellions and 3 is so significant. 3 Hellions, they one-shot probes. 2 Hellions, they 2-shot, so you can kind of dodge things a little bit earlier. As now 2 workers will go down. Oh no, Zoun, he targets down his gas, and now we're starting to see some damage. So 5 workers go down, and a little more, no, not enough. So 6 workers at the end of the day, that dies, and I don't hate it anymore. You kill 6 workers, you cut the you cut corners on how many Hellions you make. That's actually really nice. So Spirit is actually pretty decently ahead in this game. He's only down 1 worker for the moment, and that's exactly what you're looking for. So the Widow Mine, the single Widow Mine, walled his way onto the other side of the map, and that's going to be a drop eventually. And okay, I guess the second Widow Mine was made as well. So they're going to run into the main base. Zoun trying to take his third as he looks to punish the starport as well, but that's 4 stalkers on the other side of the map. May not be able to deal with the drop of the main base here. Zoun is going to be able to have a pretty solid probe pull, and there's the split, but the Unburrow, the Reburrow trying to get on top of everything. Widow Mine does not get the target it wants. It will acquiesce to the eventual damage. And there we go. Actually, that's 4 workers. So grand total of, I think, 10 workers go down. You lose the starport, which is not what you want. But one random Marine, 1 hero Marine into the national. The natural. PUBG SD2, I don't know. I'm actually not sure what the viewership. It's part of the problem is Chinese viewership numbers are wrong. Like, they're massively inflated by bots. So you'll go and you'll see something that's like, wow, you know, the Western audience had, you know, 30,000 viewers, and the Chinese audience had 200,000 viewers. It's like, wow, that's awesome. Like, actually, no, it was also probably about 30,000 viewers, or whatever. You know, I don't know. No, I'm pulling numbers out of my out of the same region that the DT emote shakes. But you know, again, Chinese viewership numbers are notoriously unreliable. I can ask the I can ask the tournament organizers though, if you're curious. They're not awake right now, of course, but I can ask tomorrow, and if you show up for my WTL stream tomorrow, same bad time, same bad channel, 8 p.m. Eastern, I will let you know if they get back to me, of course. But Zoun does have 3 bases right now. We're starting to build disruptors, but only 1 at a time, only single robo. And when you build disruptors, it feels really bad to just build 1. It feels really bad to only build 1 disruptor, because they just get targeted down so easily. but he does have charge on the way, and of course he does have blink. The core army is going to be this blink stalker disruptor idea. Zealots to go for flanks, to go for run bys. It feels really, again, it's one of those things that just kind of doesn't feel all that great. Having a bunch of zealots when you have disruptors, you got to micro your zealots away from the army because it's so easy to blow your entire army up, and then where are you going to be then? Very sad. So let's see what Spirit can get done here on this bit of pressure. Remember, Zoun is taking a lot of damage. Hey, Bread Feeds the Duck, have a good night. Or morning or afternoon, whatever time it is for you. Zoun is taking a lot of damage in this game. I think he's taking about 10, 12 workers worth of damage, and at the time he took it, I mean, that was significant. Spirit now is only down about 6 workers. The scan goes down, not able to get the observer. I think we just, what's the meme? We need to nerf observer speed just by a little bit, so because Terrans are getting frustrated when they go and the observer gets out of range of the scan. But Spirit will scan out the 4th base, and that may be a target of opportunity for him, as moves a decent amount of his army down the bottom right side. Double drop on the left side here, so moving up for a bit of a multi-prong. Let's see what he's able to get done. He doesn't have the biggest supply lead. He's up about 10-ish. But the army of Zoun is very much a death ball army. It has to be together for the most part. Good target fire on this pylon, but I don't think the pylon... Oh, no, it does depower the robo. And that means, ooh, extended thermal lance is going to be done very... It's just going to be denied. It's going to be much longer in this game, much further into this game before extended thermal lance, before the Colossus are actually good. Disruptor shot, gets a Marauder, gets a couple Marines. Not bad. But the Zealots now, they're going to try to run forward. Here comes the rest of Spirit's army. And with 4 tanks here, it's really hard. It's really hard for Zoun to take this fight. 4 tanks, they annihilate Colossus. And again, a Colossus without extended thermal lance. Well, let me sing you a song of Dead Colossus, because that is exactly what happens right there. But Spirit, simultaneously, not super interested. Oh, nice job there. The wind amount is very low, and the cannon gets repowered just in time. But that is a 4th base dead. Yes, the medevac did fall. I think a couple Marines Marauders did die, but regardless, you take those absolutely. Biotron to dive on top of the Colossus. Extended thermal overcharge is popped, but now it is a 2-base Protoss player, because these 4 tanks, again, they annihilate any sort of Colossus play, especially with that extended thermal lance. So taking this fight, you don't want to. Technically, disruptors can deal with this well enough, but there's so much in the front that the disruptors don't really feel like they can get close enough to be in range. And there we go. It's another dead base. So Zoun, 100 supply, barely above that. Spirit, 150. And I don't mind Spirit. I'm doing great. Having a wonderful Saturday evening. It was a good time. There's a scan out on that. What do we want to call this? Third base at this point? I mean, Zoun is broke, but he will be able to get on top of these tanks. Now the Biostims backward. They're very, very overstimmed, so the army's got to run away. The clump of army that Zoun had, well, it's gone here as well, and it's a quad drop into the main base. There's a tank left behind a little bit. Looks like it's going to siege on the low ground. Bit of an awkward spot there for Zoun to defend, actually, but there we go. Mass recall, or mass warpins, excuse me. Zoun, his army feels fairly good here. I think that's just because we don't have the army all together, but 10 probes have died. The tank actually killing all the probes as they try to cycle on over to the 4th base. And the scan goes off. Says, okay, there's a Colossus here, but, well, Spirit thinks he's got an opportunity, but Disruptor's not actually going to get all that much, but it does force Spirit to micro back just a little bit. Disruptor falls. Now you got to run away. There is literally, okay, not literally no anti-air. There's a sentry, but figuratively no anti-air. Yeah, he's got to feel desperate at this point. He really needs to find something, and his army supply is actually pretty good. But oh, the flank, the drop from earlier is going to knock down one Colossus. He's going to get a second, and Zoun cannot take this fight anymore. It's a bunch of bio against a bunch of gateway units, and it's not going to work out here. Spirit takes one map, and he starts a comeback. He needs another, though, and then they need Reynor to clutch it out in the ace match, but we're getting there. We are on our way. In the bottom right, in the blue, he is down 1 game in this series, but he only needs 1 to force Alpha X towards another victory and secure the spot at the top of the table. It is Zoun in the upper left, though, in the red. 1 map to force to an ace match. It is Spirit. The spirited one. That, folks, is a rather spicy SCV. Taking a little path through, a little roundabout path through the bottom side of the map. We're gonna have to pay attention to it. What's it gonna make? Well, for now, it actually just might be a eBay block, but man, sitting back just a little bit. Probe's gonna see it though, and I don't think this is gonna be an effective eBay block because again, the probe can get right on top of it, and so it will be forced to abandon its holy crusade fairly early on in the build cycle. But with some good RNG, actually it's getting a solid 20%. That's considering how this works. Not bad. I mean, the probes being pulled here, of course. First of all, they're zoning out the SCV, but they should be able to get this DV down fairly quickly. So, minor lead for Spirit. A minor bit of an advantage, right? You know, he did force 4 probes off the mineral line for a little bit, and it's a bit annoying. But the SCV falls, and that pretty much invalidates all of it. It's was it 1 worker mines 50 resources? What's the math? Forget. Regardless, killing the SCV kind of invalidates the advantage you may have gained by forcing the probes off the line for not all that long. But there's a Marine on the map as well. I guess it's just looking for a probe scout. It's not going to find it because, well, probe scout only now on the map, on the bottom side here. Just tracing the path that Spirit took. Because, you know, we always, something in the path less traveled by. But clearly that path less traveled by is not making all the difference in this game because Zoun noses in, sees that there is a command center on the way, and, well, the game goes on. Nothing too crazy. Yeah, you would expect to see a bunker pretty soon from the eBay. The interesting thing, actually, is the fact that Spirit did build his command center on the low ground. Because normally, you build your command center on the high ground, you go from there, because you're afraid of the pressure that the Protoss player can put on at the timing when your command center is not done. Because that's what getting an eBay block does. It delays your command center by enough time for an adept to get its way onto the other side. But have I told you, friends, have I told you about how big Cosmic Sapphire is in the map recently? Because it's a pretty big map. Aerial, there is no bracket command because these games were played this morning, and bracket is therefore a spoiler. So, if you want, you can always go to teamliquid.net, pull up the WTL. But I intentionally have that off because, again, these games were happening this morning. I want to avoid spoilers. And add the no bracket, and for this to avoid spoilers. That's what I want. That wasn't what I wanted. Yeah, I didn't want that. There we go. Math. Anyways, we got a cloaked Widowmine drop coming in from Spirit in this game number 2. Didn't work for time against Astrea. We're gonna have to see whether it works a little bit better for Spirit against Zoun, as he does need this map win to make sure that they do move on to an ace match. Otherwise, again, Alpha X will secure their first place, moving up to, I think, a solid 15 points, which puts them in just incredible standing. I'm not going to say it puts them untouchable, but it puts them in just a wonderful spot to exist in the WTL. No, it would have put them in 14 points, excuse me. Which means that the best that, say, DPG could do, or Psystorm could do, would be at 12, 2 points behind a full ace match win behind them. That is a fantastic position to be in at the end of round 5, but we're getting ahead of ourselves, of course. We are getting ahead of ourselves, of course, because Zoun still needs to win this game for that to happen. Now, there's a drop on the bottom side as the Cloaked Widowmines, all 4 of them. Recall is going to come in for the Phoenix, but again, the Phoenixes are not detected. Widowmine's just going to go off there. The second one is going to go off on a probe, drop in the main mineral line. The Phoenix are not where they need to be, so this should be the end of that one. Did the Phoenix take shots? I'm not sure. Drops here on top of the probes as well, but they will be able to run away, and that seems to be the end of that because there's an observer out. So, okay, there we go. Oh, nice Widowmine positioning here, but last second pickup. So, Zoun doesn't take too much damage at the end of the day. He takes some damage on the Phoenix, and I really think that was just about it. So, Maybe he's lost one Phoenix. That's about it. Widowmine drops got very little done. And we got another one on the way. Another setup. Zhan will scout this one very early this time. Adepts could have gotten in the main base, but they pull back. They assume they're not going to be allowed in, and well, that's a bit annoying. But okay, Phoenix, they're just posturing around. Oh no, he had the path, but how many times did this happen? He had the path and he reclicked. He was not. He's no longer on interception. He's no longer on an interception path, and that means the Widowmine drop is going to show up in the natural of Zhan once again. This time, no recall. But Zhan also has a good understanding of the timing, so he's going to find it anyways. Maybe I spoke a little bit too soon. So Widowmines will all get lifted here, and one Phoenix is going to work together, and then of course the damage starts to stagger a little bit further, faster and faster as the Phoenix get relieved of their charges, and there we go. They won't be able to pick up all of them, but they get 4 and they get the meta back. And if you're Zhan, you're very okay with that one. And to see one Phoenix will be sacrificed. Just I don't think that's worth it. But one Phoenix will be sacrificed to, I don't even know. You know what I think happened? I think Zhan forgot that this was Cloaked Widowmines. So he made the decision of, oh yeah, you know, sacrificing a Phoenix that's not going to die, and in exchange you get a Widowmine kill. But you don't really get extra detection by letting the Widowmine happen. Get it shot off, but look at this. Spirit is tanking up. He is turtling up like I have rarely see players turtle. He's got 2 or 3 bunkers on the third base. He's got missile turrets everywhere, bunkers everywhere. He wants this game to go super late because he knows that he has lost 10 Widowmines, 2 medevacs, or 2 probes. Like that is just not the trade you're looking for whatsoever, especially as Phoenix exists on the map as threat. Wait, Aurora Dirklord, you moved backwards in time? You're home at 225 after you worked until 255? Like, that's impressive. Okay, that makes sense. I was like, wait, what is this nonsense? What is this nonsense? Like, are you saying you worked, like, until almost 3 in the morning, 2 days in a row? I don't believe that. But welcome home. Glad you're here. I choose to believe that you're literally a time traveler, Aurora Dirklord. These Phoenix are all very low, so they don't really fight the Vikings all that well. Although, nice target fire from Zhan. It means that he only loses 1 Phoenix. Is he going to get the Cyclone? I don't think so. Marines arrive. But yeah, Spirit getting a lot of value done with a lot of value with these Phoenix. Really just denying value from Spirit, I think, is the better way to say that. But look at this. How do you break through this? There are, what is that, 5 supply depots, 2 bunkers, a tank, missile. Zealots don't work on it. You got to slow push that. All right, get a bunch of disruptors and start to slowly push your way through that one. Yeah, this is, you know what this, Polly, you know what this is looking like? This is looking like box art. This is Spirit is a box art Terran right now. He works already per 1.21 gigawatts. But you need to do more than that one, Aurora Dirklord. You also need to go in 80 miles an hour. Only way the 1.21 gigawatts are actually useful. As this drop will get found out here, and finally, Zhan is going to try to make a push happen. But his supply is not incredible. 77 to 71. I don't know that he can break this. I mean, it looks like he wants to try. But I think he's much better served by, yeah, so he's got his 4th base, 5th base on the way on the gold. He's much better served by just trying to absorb the map. Move into multiple Stargate play, maybe go carriers or something, and just not allow Spirit to go to 4 bases. I think that's the play you got to go for. As, well, the Cyclone's going to get lifted here. It's going to get a lock on though, and more importantly, it distracts the Phoenix. So the drop does find its way onto the map here, and we'll most likely find this gold base, but it's only 8 Marines. I don't really know that it gets much done. The sneaky 4th base from Spirit will absolutely not get that much done. So, Darks warp in, Zealots warp in. The pylon will fall. We do need to start to see some response to this one, but this is a much better pick. This is a much bigger pickoff coming in from Zhan. He's going to knock down a ton of the army here. Saving Private Brian. 1 medevac will get out, but it's 1 medevac. That was a lot of damage that we saw Zhan get done on Spirit in terms of the army supply. And now Zhan can start to shell away with a couple Colossus, finding a little bit, or actually a lot of value here. We're going to see Refinery go down, Sensor Tower go down, a bunch of Archons getting morphed in because it seems like Spirit thinks he's got a break possible. I don't know that he does necessarily, but building those Archons does mean that at least Spirit is, or Zoun is entertaining the idea. And he has built, there's the supply lead. Finally, 106 army supply to 79. He is on 5 bases. He does have the gold. And he is not moving to carriers, as I was talking about, but moving into Tempest play. Because, well, 5 Tempests, they one-shot Vikings. They one-shot tanks, I believe, as well. They certainly one-shot medevacs. So you move into that 5 Tempests. I think I said 5 Vikings. Anyways, 5 Tempests. They one-shot a lot of the Terran arsenal. So if you get into that perspective, you can start to worry away at this incredibly turtled up position. Meanwhile, Zoun's army on the ground is not bad. The army that Spirit has is only terrifying because it's able to turtle up behind bunkers and supply depots and tanks. In the open ground, it does not fight nearly as well, but Zoun is just playing careful. He's buying time, and as this 4th base gets taken, maybe there's a world where Spirit can get a little more done, but as I look at that defensive line, the answer is no. The answer is hell no. But a Warp Prison finds its way into the main base, and Zoun can only warp in 2 Zealots because he very much is maxed out here, but this is, by itself, I mean, this is nice. It forces Spirit to respond in different ways. Taxes and multitasking. These Zealots will not get anything done. But maybe the 4th base is going to be where things are going to be a little bit more effective here as he wedges his way behind the nascent planetary and will not see birth. It is just canceled instead. So Stark's playing forward here, and the command center is starting to burn. Not going to go down just yet, but starting to burn. We'll force a repair, and actually, where is it in the dead airspace? I wish we could watch. We won't. But now, 3 more Tempests are on the way. So you get 5 because that's 1 shot, and you get 1 more to make sure that if you lose a Tempest, you're still fine. And of course, with Tectonic Destabilizers, there we go. It means that he will be able to worry through the stuff on the ground and the structures pretty easily, as well as these Colossus are just shredding the bio. Great fight. Honestly, any fight that Zoun takes at this point is a great fight because look at his economy. He's on 81 workers, and yes, Spirit's on 76, but Zoun has 6 bases. Spirit is struggling to take his 4th. And Tempest, oh, this is a great position for the Tempest to be in as well. So much dead airspace. These tanks are going to struggle to stay alive. I think that much is just very, very obvious. You just keep the Colossus behind them a little bit, and then, well, you can't ever stem on top. It's certainly not against, I mean, 5 Tempests can actually kill things by themselves, but with the Colossus and the Disruptors behind it just doesn't work. So instead, Spirit opts to sacrifice a couple Marines to make sure he doesn't lose his tanks, but I'm not sure that that is optimal, and, well, Tectonic Destabilizers will be done soon. So this sieged up position that Spirit has is actually, it's becoming less and less sieged by the second. So the goal here, of course, is to kill the tanks. Once you kill the tanks, everything else is a lot easier. So the Tempest, they run forward. That's going to be not another dead tank. It survives on literally 3 HP. But the Tempest are just, they're finding so much value. Spirit does not have a bank. Zoun absolutely does. And, well, there we go. Tectonic Destabilizers. Of course, it doesn't do bonus damage to everything on the ground, just structures, but kind of looks like that anyways. This age-old bug. Thank you, Blizzard. Not small in a game. No complaints. And as the Vikings, they start popping out in earnest 4 at a time, they get one-shot by the Tempest. I mean, that really is the extent of it. The Tempest count is high enough that the Marines need to get on top of. 1 Tempest will fall pretty much at the very beginning. But do you think Zoun cares about 1 Tempest? He's rolling in the dough. Disruptor shot is just going to zone things out. That's a dead 4th base pretty much immediately. The Tempest, again, do insane damage to structures on the ground, but, well, Spirit thinks he can take this fight anyways. I'm not convinced. Well, I know he absolutely can. Recall gets forced here. What dies, actually? I know something had to have died. It didn't really seem like all that much tech died. So, fantastic trade for Zoun. He knocks his opponent back down to 3 bases. He has all the money in the world. No. Maybe a Disruptor. That was about it. All the Tempest stayed alive. All the Colossus stayed alive. So I don't know what Spirit was target firing, but not the right things. Not the right things at all. Now Zoun has the rich gas base. So literally the last base that he can take without taking a base from his opponents. He does have that on the map right now. He's still on 81 workers. He's up 10 at this point. He's getting all his upgrades. He's getting +3 armor, not +3 attack just yet. Interestingly enough, he believes in shields more, which may tell us he wants to move into carriers eventually. But he does have +2 on the Tempest. They do a lot of damage here. Now they're going to just start to shred away at these tanks. The Biostim is forward. The Tempests are getting very low indeed, and that's going to be, what is that? Oh, they're all dead. In the span of a blink and the span of an instant, they're all going to go down. And really, there's not a lot of anti-air here to deal with the Vikings as well, so the Colossus will fall. If there's a fight Spirit was ever going to take in this game, it absolutely is this one. All the tech. Every little bit of tech that Zoun holds dear in this game is all going down. I mean, the Disruptors stay alive, but that was 3 dead Colossus, 5, 6 dead Vikings. And Zoun's just building 2 disruptors. He's got to do more than that. I don't know what he got. Tempest or carriers are maybe the option. I don't know, but he does have to do more than just build a couple disruptors with this bank he has, with the supply deficit that he has. So the rich gas base is going to go down as well, and Spirit now goes on the warpath. This is one of the problems when we talk about severely turtled Terrans. They don't really die, and they trade incredibly cost effectively, and then they take the one fight and suddenly you're very, very sad. But this is a lot of blink DTs with +3 actually. So I'm sorry. Zoun was just a little slower on his armor, I guess, because he does certainly have +3 attack. DTs are going to find this planetary, and they're going to blink right on top of them. 1 swipe, 2 swipe, 3 swipe. No 4th base for Spirit once again. So he will lose that one for or he will lose the idea of a 4th base for the second time here. Now disruptor shots go out. Zealots run forward, but they're not going to find what they want. Stalkers kill off a little bit of marine pressure here, just a little bit. Big disruptor shot. Ghost will fall. You can't fight into these 4 tanks though. Not easily, but you sneak in with with DTs from the backside. You jump on top of everything. Maybe that's what you want. The tank's dead in the blink of an eye. And yet you got Vikings in the sky, and they actually fight Stalkers fairly well. The upgrades are just totally dominant though. Right, it's 3-3 on the Stalkers versus what was that? 1-1-2 on the Vikings. It's not enough. Down 200 supply. Spirit taps out, and Alpha X take the 4-2. They secure themselves a pole position, uncontestable position in first place here in week 5.